In Dallas, Texas, a sniper launched a deadly attack on a U.S. ICE facility early September 24th, firing from a rooftop into a transport van. One detainee was killed and 2 more were critically wounded before the shooter turned the gun on himself. Authorities recovered shell casings marked with the words anti-ICE, suggesting a possible politically motivated act. The Department of Homeland Security confirmed the shooting targeted ICE operations, describing the incident as a deliberate act of violence. One of the wounded is a Mexican national, and the Mexican consulate is monitoring the case. Investigators are now treating the attack as a possible terrorism or hate crime, with the FBI assisting in the investigation. This incident is raising serious concerns about security, ideology-driven violence, and the safety of immigration enforcement operations. We'll be tracking how the investigation unfolds and what implications this will have on federal security measures. During his UN address, former President Donald Trump alleged that a series of technical failures were part of an intentional triple sabotage. He pointed to 3 incidents: an escalator that halted unexpectedly, a teleprompter that went dark, and audio problems that he claims made his speech inaudible without earpieces. Trump says he has asked the United Nations to preserve security footage and says the Secret Service is investigating. He insists these events were deliberate and demands accountability. But UN officials provide alternate explanations. The escalator stoppage may have been triggered by a videographer traveling backward, the teleprompter was operated by the White House, and the translation/earpiece system remained functional. The UN also notes escalator or elevator interruptions have occurred in their buildings before. This controversy raises questions about the line between mechanical malfunction and suspicion, as well as how public figures respond when technology fails on a global stage. Today at the UN, several nations made historic moves by formally recognizing Palestine as a sovereign state. The United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Portugal, and France have all stepped forward, while Belgium is preparing to follow suit. These actions signal a growing willingness among Western democracies to press for renewed diplomatic momentum in the Israel-Palestine conflict. Israel, however, has rejected the recognitions as symbolic and says they carry no legal weight. Meanwhile, the U.S. remains a vocal opponent of unilateral recognition without a negotiated peace deal. More than 150 UN member states already recognize Palestine, giving this shift global resonance. The question now is, will these declarations translate into real diplomatic leverage or remain largely symbolic gestures? As Israel faces mounting isolation at the UN, this moment could mark a turning point in how the world engages with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. With the federal funding deadline looming on October 1st, Congress is facing a high-stakes standoff. The Republican-led House has passed a stopgap funding bill to avert a shutdown, but the measure excludes important healthcare provisions, especially funding for Medicaid and ACA subsidies. Senate Democrats have blocked the bill, demanding that any extension include those protections in law. In response, the White House has instructed federal agencies to prepare not only for temporary furloughs, but potential mass workforce reductions. Meanwhile, the federal judiciary warns it may not be able to maintain full operations beyond October 3rd if no funding deal is reached. President Trump canceled a scheduled meeting with Democratic leaders, citing disagreements over what should be included in the bill. As the clock ticks, the question becomes, will a last-minute compromise emerge, or will parts of the federal government shut down, and what services will be affected first? In a developing story, federal prosecutors are reportedly weighing criminal charges against former FBI Director James Comey for allegedly lying to Congress during his September 30, 2020, testimony about the FBI investigation into Russia's ties to Donald Trump's 2016 campaign. The case is slated to be filed in the Eastern District of Virginia, where Comey testified remotely. The timing is crucial, as the statute of limitations for perjury is set to expire soon. The move comes after President Trump publicly demanded that Attorney General Pam Bondi prosecute figures like Comey, arguing delays in justice have undermined credibility. Notably, the U.S. Attorney for Virginia was recently replaced. Lindsay Halligan, once tied to Trump's legal circle, now heads the office after Eric Siebert declined to pursue charges. Although some prosecutors reportedly believe the evidence is weak, Halligan is expected to present the case to a grand jury before the deadline. Whatever happens next will raise major questions about legal precedent, DOJ independence, and how political pressure may influence prosecution decisions.